In our topic, the Kosher Kitchen, class number 16. Today we are going to discuss class number 2 about Gentile cooking. So we already learned about few topics such as cooking on a fire, cooking in a microwave, cooking on electrical stove, and so forth and so on. Now we will try to deal with the next two halachot, 17 and 18, in regards to a combination of subject and exempt food. Meaning that if we got mixed something together, what's going to be the halacha for it? So just listen to the next halacha. We're dedicating, of course, this to our class for Refuah Shelema. Any names you want to mention, please do it. Hashem send them Refuah Shelema. Amen. Now, if a food which is subject to the prohibition against Gentile cooking is mixed with food which is not, there is a Gentile cooking and there is food that is not Gentile cooking, and they got mixed, and they are cooked together by a Gentile, then the status of the cooked dish depends on which food is the main one. If the main food is the one which is subject to the prohibition, the cooked dish is forbidden. Otherwise, it is permitted. The issue is not the quantity of the respective food, but their importance. In both cases, we're talking about kosher ingredients, right? We're only talking about kosher food that was mixed with, kosher food that is Gentile cooking with not Gentile cooking, and then they mix them together. Now, if food which is subject to the prohibition against Gentile cooking, we already listed in the last class, is cooked by a Gentile, and afterwards is mixed with food which is not subject to prohibition, such a way that two foods are inseparable. Okay, you can't separate them because it's mixed already. And then I give an example in a second. The combined dish acquires the status of whichever food is the majority. In other words, in such case, Gentile cooking is nullified by being less than half, and does not need to be less than 60th. For example, if an egg is illegitimately soft boiled by a Gentile, and then it mixed into cheese, cream cheese, and so forth and so on, so that one cannot be separate, can separate them both, right? One may eat the mixture provided that the majority of it is the cheese. Okay, the cheese is obviously a kosher ingredient. The Gentile just boiled the egg, so it's already done. Can be mixed, can be separated from that mix, and it's all good, can be eaten. Now, before moving to food that is permitted because they are not cooked, very important to listen. I want to read an introduction, okay? And the introduction, it's basically summarizes everything. So the title is before listing the foods, that is foods which are not included in the prohibition. Okay. Listen to this introduction, it's very important because I think it will be able to answer many of your questions. Okay? Now, before listing the foods which can be eaten if cooked by Gentiles, it is important to note a reservation. Chazal institute their edict primarily to reduce the risk of intermarriage. Okay, because food brings people together. And they exempt food which do not present such a risk. The Torah requirements of kashrut remains in full force, however. Okay, whenever one eats permissible Gentile cooking, one must ascertain that the food is reliably kosher. Okay, so you want to eat a Gentile cooking. You participate in the cooking by lighting the fire, for example. Make sure the ingredients are kosher. Okay, this is basic. Nowadays, this is very hard to do in any commercial setting. Obviously, in a private place, small places, it's easy. But in restaurants or any other commercial, you're not really going to the back of the restaurant to check the ingredients, right? If they don't do it in front of you, okay, assuming that the tools, the dish, everything is kosher. For example, it used to be possible to rely on the labels of small sardine cans and other Gentile products to accurately list the oil used. When only vegetable oil was listed, one could reliably assume that the oil was kosher, since adding unkosher oil will detract from the flavor of the product, and the manufacturers were considered craftsmen abiding by the halachic principle that a craftsman does not spoil his handiwork. This is a rule that we've learned in the past, meaning that they won't take the craftsman or the factory or the owner would not risk his business by adding stuff without notifying the authorities. When a factory manufactures stuff, he wants to add any ingredients, they will have to notify. So let's say they want to add a different oil. They will have to be approved. They won't put it just like that because they can be in a risk of lawsuits, okay? Specifically nowadays when people are more and more allergic to different kind of ingredients, okay? So if they write on the label that this is what we use, we can believe them, okay? It used to be like that in the past year, but listen to this. However, it has been discovered of late that many fish factories add whole fat or other unkosher ingredients to their cans without listing them on the labels, since the law in all countries does not require them to list ingredients which make up less than 2% of their products. For us, it's still prohibited, but let's say they added less than 2% or up to 2% forbidden fat from an animal. There are countries which permit even greater percentage of such products. Therefore, one can make no assumptions. The only way to know the kashrut of a product is to supervise the production at the eatery of the factory, which is next to impossible. Okay. Even so, it might be impossible to determine the kashrut of the product, since all sorts of chemicals and powders whose kashrut status is doubtful. It can be used as an ingredient, right? Or lubricants. In most cases, the only alternative is to rely on rabbinically authorized kashrut supervising agencies and to eat this kind of food only under their supervision and certification. They're using today a lot of fat from animals, either from pig, they use from whales. Okay, whales has a lot of fat, it doesn't go to waste. Okay, so whale is not kosher and pig obviously is not kosher. So the best method is if it has kosher symbol on it, kosher sign on it. Okay, that's the best way to go. Sometimes it could be kosher, as is. So when I suspect that it's kosher, I call the vad. Okay, I have the rabbi on the WhatsApp. I send a picture, a good picture of the ingredient, and I ask him. Sometimes he says it's okay. Nonetheless, the ingredients, it doesn't, I mean, on the can, it doesn't show any symbol, but he knows the factory, he knows the manufacturer, and he can tell me with much confidence that it's okay. If not, it will say it's not recommended. So far, so good?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you know something about the sign, the double aleph?
Yes, double aleph from Mexico. Yes. So some products okay, some products some people don't rely on. I'm not sure if all of it's okay. You got to double check. But we used to have a lot of juice, a lot of products coming from Mexico, and basically, as far as I understand, the double A are fine. But I don't know about a specific every food. I think you still need to ask about a specific food, okay? Because I heard different things in the last few years. Now, the next topic is foods permitted because they are not cooked. Okay? One may buy pickled and canned vegetables, even those not eaten raw, and smoked, pickled, or steamed fish, as long as there is no fear of any admixture of unkosher ingredients. Still, the steaming machinery must not be used for unkosher foods, such as unkosher fish as well, unless, of course, the utensils and pipes are koshered at a temperature of 100 Celsius. Otherwise, the product is forbidden. However, some opinions hold that the water in the pipes are noten tam livgam. They are actually cleaning it, even if not under that temperature. Again, it makes sense to eat it, but yet it's always good. And today, thank God, in America, the variety of food is so great, so it shouldn't be a problem. Questions start when people already bought and it's home and they don't want to bring it back to the store to get a refund. Yes, refund, no refund. So then you can ask the rabbi. He might let you use it or give it away or bring it back to the store. What about pickled olives? Pickled olives. There is a lot of them, a great variety, and we see that people buy them even without kosher sign, like people buying olive oil. If it's 100%, there is no need for kosher symbol. It's 100%. Okay. Pickled olives may be bought from Gentiles as long as they are not cut with knife, since olives are sharp and absorb ta'am from the knives. They absorb the moist and they absorb the taste from the knives. So I think many kind of olives in cans are not crushed or cut or
the whole one.
Or the whole one, right. The kashrut of the utensils that the pickling is done is not a concern, though, since the quantity of water compared to utensils nullifies any unkosher ta'am, taste, in them. Black olives, however, are often colored with wine, and this must be investigated before they may be eaten. So that's about the black one.
The black ones use the wine to turn black?
That's what it says. I didn't know that, but kashrut of ingredients, not my expertise, has to be an expert. Like we have here the vad. This is why they are in charge. Okay, so olive, if it's regular, you can use it without a kashrut, as long as you know there's no other ingredients in it. It's simple, pickled, fine. What about tuna? Tuna.
It must be free of the...
Tuna, shalom. Tuna raises other questions some permit, some not permit. Lately, in the last few years, it become a problem because they found out that when they hunting the tuna, they put it in the large containers in the ship. And the water is salty and a little bit warm, and it's mixed with unkosher, I don't know, crabs or whatever, or unkosher fish, and it's as if it's cooked in the same, nonetheless, it's big, huge container. It's still kosher and unkosher, you know. So some holds not to eat tuna at all in a kosher can, but most opinion says it's okay if it's supervised. So canned tuna may be subject to the prohibition against Gentile cooking since it is served formally. Some opinions are lenient, however, since canned tuna is cooked by pressurized steam and not by pressurized steam and not by regular cooking. Canned tuna may be made permissible by having a Jew start the steam machinery, even if he does so before the food is put in. One can rely on the lenient opinion lechatchila. In the beginning, we don't worry about it, since both the status of steam cooking and of tuna suitability for a king's for a king's table are in doubt. Again, going back to the same idea, you have kosher on it, symbol marked, go for it. If not, you get yourself into a question if this is kosher or not kosher and what was the process. I don't have the tools or have the means to tell you that it was cooked that way, with steams, no steam, hot steam. I can't. It's only the VAD, the supervision authorities can share that. Now, what about smoked fish? When I was a child, I saw people doing it in the backyard. Even today, it's a very common thing. What about a smoked salmon, okay, produced by Gentile? So, smoked salmon produced by Gentile may be eaten if it has been supervised by a reliable rabbinic to certify that the fish is indeed a kosher species, and to ensure that no unkosher food coloring has been added, as is often done. Okay, so we're talking about smoked fish. Okay, it's not considered in this case a Gentile cooking. The only supervision is if it's kosher fish. Okay, sometimes you can't. It's hard to determine to see the skin, scale, and the fins and scales. What about sugar? Do I have to buy sugar with kosher certificate? So sugar is made from sugar cane by steaming. So it is not subject to the prohibition against Gentile cooking, meaning 100% sugar, you can buy it without kosher certification. Okay, Misha? You look very happy now. Now you're relaxed now. He knows that he can get it. It's all good. Okay. What about soup powder, mashed potatoes, mashed onions, and stuff like that? Soup powder, instant mashed potatoes, and instant rice may not be subject to the prohibition against Gentile cooking, since they are cooked by simply pouring hot water on them. Any cooking done during their processing does not disqualify these foods, since after their processing they are still not edible. It's a powder, can't eat it, you gotta cook it, right? Even so, the pouring must be done by a Jew and not by a Gentile. So you take the powder, it's okay, just make sure it's 100%, right? There's no, because they're adding now flavor. So I have to be careful. Very common question that I get all the time is about frozen vegetables, frozen fruits. People like to have smoothies, right?
Mm-hmm.
With fruits.
Strawberries.
Okay, so, right. So strawberries might be a problem because strawberries are very tricky. We have less problems with, I would say, banana, apple, pineapple, stuff like that. It's always good to buy with a kosher certification. But people like broccoli, they like beans, corn, whatever that's frozen. Okay, so frozen vegetables are 75% cooked before they are frozen, and therefore could be subject to the prohibition against Gentile cooking. Some authorities permit their consumption since the cooking is done with steam and not on an actual fire. But others only permit the use of those vegetables which are eaten raw. You can move the table, guys. Moshe, you can move the tables if anybody come next.
Move the table?
Yeah,
Yeah. All right.
feel more comfortable. Okay, but others only permit the use of those vegetables which are eaten raw, since such as carrots and tomatoes. So again, it might be okay without a kosher certification. Okay, it's best always take a picture, send to the rabbi Shaul for example, and always get it, and that makes it easier. Sometimes it's just a great deal. It's much cheaper than the kosher one, right? It might be okay. Okay, there's problems with, I would say, strawberries, maybe blueberries. I'm not sure. There's some stuff that it's hard to kosher. It's not so easy, but sometimes it's good. It depends again on the factory. It depends the processing. If it goes through washing, whatever. So I'm not the expert. You just shoot a question to the rabbi. There is an opinion that canned potatoes are not subject to the prohibition against Gentile cooking because they are blanched and not cooked. They're making them look nice, white. And they are not edible in their canned form. So it might be okay. Again, make sure not flavored, added. Another question that we got recently: if we learn that a Gentile cannot cook for you, what do you do on flights? You order kosher food. The food is kosher, but who's heating up to you for you? The stewardess, right? They're not Jewish. They're going to give it to you hot. They're heating up the food for you. Is that okay? Again, let me tell you again. The food is completely kosher. You ordered kosher food. Many times it comes frozen. So they defrost it. They have a whole system how to do it, what time to start on. And then they're heating it up. You get it hot. Now the question is, if they can heat it up for you.
Where
Is this like halal, or are these like?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Even in the halal, you can have non-Jews working as a stewardess.
Maybe the microwave.
They can heat up for you or not. It's just a common sense. It's already cooked.
Can you use the microwave?
It's kosher. You're saying the micro. Okay, so the halacha says the following. The prohibition against Gentile cooking does not apply to food which is reheated in the airplane, since the food is already fully cooked beforehand in a Jewish kitchen. Comprende?
Yeah.
There are many others concerned regarding food in airplanes, however, so that even if the food has a valid hechsher, it must be hermetically sealed while it is being heated and served. So usually you get it, you see it in 2 wraps, one and a plastic bag. It's closed. As long as it's like that, they can heat it up for you, no problems. Okay? And not only that, the tray that you'll get, you have to be covered. Because they don't know. They need to see that you need fish. They just can grab a fish and bring it to you. But it's a whole set. It's covered with a strong plastic cover. And inside even the food is also in small bags. Okay, just to make sure nothing will be mixed. Before you eat, check it out again. It's no problem. So reheating it, warming it, no problem. It's already cooked.
Because it was cooked.
It was cooked already.
Yeah, it was reheated.
Exactly, no problem.
And because it's
But-
sealed as well.
And it's sealed as well. Exactly.
But depend on the micro.
It doesn't matter. They can heat it up any way they like. It's already
What
cooked.
if it's reheated and not sealed? And it's in a microwave or something where there's some kosher food that is heated in there?
So if I have any concern that it's not, or something can be mixed in it, I can eat it because it's not sealed.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen. Remember the story I told you with the rabbi that he was very strict about eating only kosher, and the halacha says any meat, if you have around you non-Jews, okay, any meat that you lay off your eyes from it, because you're not supervising, you're not supposed to eat it, because they might accidentally replace, they don't know kosher, no kosher. They see a piece of meat, they might replace. So it was a true story. Someone in an airplane, they got meatballs. So he had like 3 or 4 pieces. He ate one, the rabbi ate one, and then he went to the restroom. By the time he came back, he looked at his plate and he just didn't continue to eat it, and he gave it to the stewardess when they finished it. Next to him was a guy, he was a Gentile. He says, "Can I ask you a question?" He says, "Yes, of course." "Why didn't you finish your food?" He says, "You know, in the Jewish halacha, we have this rule that says if I left the food unsupervised, I can't eat it." He said to him, "You know what? I'm amazed at what you just said. Your Torah is so true." He says, "Because I also got meatballs on mine, but mine is the one non-kosher one. When you left, I said to myself that, this is a kosher food, and let me try it because I never try it. It's a blessed food. What's the difference? So I took one and I gave you one of mine, the non-kosher." They replaced them. The rabbi then shared the story. It's a great lesson for all of us. Okay, to be careful with that. These things. Okay, let's do 1 or 2 more halachot. Foods permitted because they are not fit for a king's table. There's a rule something called king's table. It's not limited to king's table. It's meaning any fancy meal or things that you eat in special restaurants or an event that considered as important and special food. Okay, I would say raw egg or boiled egg. Okay, boiled egg, it's not considered a great food that goes on, and you don't eat boiled eggs, I guess, in an event, right? It's not under this category. So small fish, such as those which are pan fried, small, maybe sardines, are not suitable for a king's table and may be eaten if cooked by a Gentile. All right? So you're fishing and you have a friend or someone that works for you on the boat and he's cooking it, it's no problem. Don't have to worry about it. Or it's just an example. Okay?
Without
You have to make sure that the utensils, the pan or the pot is kosher, right? This is why I brought this example. Large salted fish, however, are suitable for king's table, since they must be cooked a bit in water after they are salted. Their preparation must be done by Jews. What about sardines? Sardines, both those sold in cans and those sold fresh, are not suitable for king's table. It's not such an important fish. You know, I saw two different kind of sardines in my life. I saw those that are whole, selling it as a whole, which is completely disgusting, and those that are open and clean from the inside. Because those that are not open, you know, you eat also the poop and other disgusting things. Okay, so again, sardines, both those sold in cans and those sold fresh, are not suitable for king's table, and therefore may be eaten even if they are cooked by Gentiles. Moreover, the cooking methods usually used are pressurized steams or smoking, and not cooking over a fire. It's small, they don't put it over a fire, they're going to kill the fish by doing that, so they're very gentle with that, either frying it or steaming it. Let me conclude this with two more halachot. What about potato chips? A lot of people are asking about potato chips. I wanted to bring an example of something, but I don't want to go there because I don't have a complete answer. You know what? I'll share with you. A guy was going to watch a movie and he asked me if he can enjoy the popcorn. You know what? It's for homework. You tell me if you can eat the popcorn. It's popcorn. They might use oil only, kosher oil. Think about it. Okay, so let's talk about for a second about potato chips. Potato chips are not subject to the prohibition against Gentile cooking, since, please remember, we're talking about the chips, the thin one, okay? Yes. Not the Gentile cooking, since they are not fit for a king's table. Okay, you're not serving this on a main meal, right? People are using it as snacks. Okay, not fit for a king's table, though some are stringent, since today even potato chips can be found on king's table. In some communities, baked potatoes, now it's baked like French fries, for example, baked potatoes are baked in an oven without oil, are considered too common for a king's table and may be eaten if cooked by a Gentile. French fries, however, are definitely considered respectable fare. Frozen pre-cut French fries, the one that if you go to a store, to the freezer, and you want to buy a bag of not ready French fries, you gotta cook it. You went through some process, okay? French fries, however, are definitely considered respectable fare. Frozen pre-cut French fries, however, may be used by those who permit the consumption of all frozen vegetables, where the first 75% of the cooking is done in the Gentile factory, and the cooking is completed by a Jew. Today, most of it is like that. French fries, it's already pre-cooked and you put it in the oven for like finishing the process. If the entire preparation is done by Gentile, however, eating the French fries is forbidden. But if not, it just cuts potatoes, it's okay. You can go even without kosher certification. It's just sliced potatoes, okay? It didn't go through any process. It was not pre-cooked. You have to read the information. What about cereals? Breakfast cereals such as cornflakes or Rice Krispies are not considered fit for a king's table and may be eaten even if produced in a Gentile factory. Okay? So far so good. We have to go to davening. God bless you. Maybe you guys eat only kosher, so your neshama will be always strong and clear from unkosher food, because everything we eat goes through the bloodstream and the nefesh is in the blood. I want to wish you Shavua Tov and all the best. And on behalf of Ohio Israel Foundation, I want to thank you for your participation. God bless you. Shalom, shalom.
Thank you, Rabbi. Same to you.
Thank
Thank you, Rabbi. Same to you.